Howdy folks, and welcome to another episode of the Old West Traveler. If this is your first time here, we recount true stories of the Old West. If you enjoy what you hear today, please subscribe and hit that like button, and hopefully you'll join us again for another true story of the Old West. Well, maybe war between the U.S. and the Apaches was bound to happen, though it didn't start that way. There was a time when both of them fought Mexico together. But things took a turn in the 1850s when more white folks started moving into Apache land. Tensions rose, and before long, both sides were picking up arms, leaving blood and destruction in their wake. The whole mess really kicked off in January of 1861 when some white mountain Apaches raided the Ward Ranch near Sonora, Arizona territory, and kidnapping a boy named Felix Ward, later known as Mickey Free. The Army got it wrong, blaming the wrong tribe. In February, things went south at a parley at Apache Pass. Cochise, a Cherokee leader, denied knowing anything about the kidnapping, but a young officer, Lieutenant George Balsam, tried to arrest Cochise and his people. And Cochise got away and retaliated by attacking whites and Mexicans alike. The Army responded by hanging Cochise's brother and two nephews, and that was that. The so-called Bascom Affair set the stage for war. It wasn't long before they would clash again at Apache Pass, marking the first major battle. The U.S. Army wasn't really expecting such a fierce fight. After taking Tucson from the Confederates on May 20th, 1862, Colonel James H. Carleton's men marched east, hoping to take control of New Mexico territory. An advance group reached Apache Pass on July 15th after trudging through terrible heat, pouring rain, and tough terrain. They didn't realize that up to 500 Cherokees were laying in wait. The Apaches, armed with bows, arrows, and rifles, hit them hard. The Army was in a bad spot. They managed to bring a couple of howitzers, the first time those cannons had ever been used against Native Americans in the Southwest. Still, the soldiers were desperate to get to the spring, about 600 yards away, but they couldn't as the Apaches had the higher ground. One man, New Mexican Albert Fountain, led a charge that drove the Apaches back. They gathered their dead and wounded and retreated, while the soldiers finally made it to the spring. 7 soldiers went off on horseback to warn the others, but the Cherokees chased them down. Private John Teal, hiding behind his fallen horse, managed to get off a shot that struck Mangas Coloradas, the lead Apache chief. The warriors stopped immediately and rushed their chief to safety. Mangas survived the wound, but was killed less than a year later. The Battle of Apache Pass ended with 2 Army dead and 2 wounded, while the Apaches likely lost about 10 men, with many more injured. The battle marked a turning point. The Apache War would drag on for another 25 years, but the Apaches never again gathered such a large group in a united force. From then on, it was a bloody hit-and-run, guerrilla-style warfare. Many lives were lost before the U.S. finally defeated the Apaches and sent most of them away to Florida, bringing a brutal chapter to a close in American history. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this episode of the Old West Traveler. If you would, please hit that subscribe button, give us a like, and drop a comment if you have a story you'd like for us to cover in the future. Until next time, we'll see you on down the line.